Last night was the Oscars. Now, I've said for a very long time, the Oscars are my second favorite day of the year. The only day of the year that is more favorite of mine is Christmas Day. Christmas is very special to me. But other than that, more than my birthday, more than anything else, Oscars Day is my favorite because I'm such a huge movie guy. I love the celebration of the Oscars. However, many times over the last number of years, I've come away from the Oscars while still loving the results and having some questions about some of the results, kind of disappointed with the show overall. And I usually, some have been better than others, but I usually come out with a big long laundry list after the Oscars about what the Oscars needs to do to be better. You know, that's what I've done the last 5, 6, 7 years. But I got to tell you, last night's Oscars, while I was a little bit nervous, you know, they had Jimmy Kimmel doing it. He's got experience doing it. I'm really more of a person that I believe a movie person should be hosting the Oscars. I've been saying that forever, all that kind of stuff. I'll tell you what, from the first opening montage they brought up.
That was really good.
Before Kimmel came out walking on stage, highlighting the movies of the year and stuff like that. I thought, this feels good. Look, I'll just cut to the chase. This was the best Oscar broadcast in years. It was the first time in a long time that the Oscars ended, and results aside, I just went, I really enjoyed watching this. I thought a couple of categories got really wrong, but that aside, I thought overall the flow of the show was incredible, right? This was Anne's favorite part, the tequila shot thing.
Yeah.
Right? Anne just goes, oh my God, I like it's just like the whole tequila shot thing was great. What's his sidekick's name? Guillermo? It is Guillermo.
Yeah.
See, Guillermo gets up and says, I love all these people and my beautiful wife, Charlize Theron. I just about died.
Charlize Theron.
Charlize Theron. I just about died when that happened. Now, there were a couple of hiccups. I love Melissa McCarthy. I love Octavia Spencer. Their little bit fell on its face for me. I love them. Love them. But that part fell on its face. Al Pacino's like, what? I think I'm reading Oppenheimer. What?
I think I see Oppenheimer.
I mean, at least he said At least he said the name of the right movie.
And then I think he caught the room, and he's like, then he listed the producers on it. So then they ran the music.
Yeah.
But they were like, oh, shoot.
I mean, at least he said the name of the right movie. That was a little bit weird. But I'll tell you what. I thought Kimmel did an amazing job hosting. I thought, I even didn't mind the stupid songs. And I hate the fact that they play the songs in the Oscars.
They were really well shot.
They were beautifully shot. Billie Eilish's, listen, I'll tell you what, the right song won. Obviously, I'm Just Ken. I love that song.
That performance was great.
Okay, we'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
But Billie Eilish's thing, when you're really listening to the song, it's like, because what am I always talking about with song? I want to hear songs that are really, the DNA of the song is connected, is the movie itself. And when she's on stage singing it, my mind just automatically started thinking about the scenes in the movie, you know, when Barbie's getting emotional and crying and feeling sad, and that's playing, and it's like, this is actually kind of perfect, this song, for the movie that it's in. And Billie Eilish's and her brother's second Oscar.
She's like 22.
Yeah, and she's probably going to have more at this point. So the performance is great. I love the presentation. Let's talk for a second, about the I'm Just Ken number. There was not a single part of that performance that wasn't perfection. The fact that they even started the number with him is still in his seat, but the cowboy hat down over and start singing it from there. The fact that I think some people didn't even catch the fact that the other Kens from the movie, including Simu Liu, came out on stage and were dancing with him as well. The fact that Slash
that was the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Did that not become like one of the greatest Oscar moments ever?
Oh my God. I'm like, of course he's there. Of course it's Slash. Well, who else would it be? Fantastic.
And then staying on the theme of Ryan Gosling, Ryan and Emily Blunt presenting, when Emily Blunt's like, we got to quash this rivalry between Emily's saying between our movies, but you know, when you look at award season so far, it hasn't been much of a rivalry. It's like, oh, that's okay, because since, you know, Oppenheimer's been riding Barbie's coattails all summer and blah, blah, like it was wonderful. I cannot wait to see these two together in Fall Guy.
Oh my God.
I cannot wait to see that. But let me tell you what my favorite moment of the night was. John Cena. John Cena, because Not only, and by the way, thank God I watched it because I just watched Ricky Stenicki and that movie stinks, which is really too bad.
Stinky.
But they bring out Ricky Stinky is what it should have been called. But still, John Cena comes out like, what are they doing here? They hadn't even mentioned the category. He just walks on stage and then just a moment of silence and then costumes. And then I just died. I was like, of course this is for the costuming category. It's like costumes are important. And he's standing there. I thought that was, first of all, how gutsy is that of him to walk out on stage like that? And then he's talking like with Kimmel. It's like, you know, like Kimmel says something like wrestling is fake or something to disparage wrestling, right? And the look on his face. This I was like Ray was there. I was laughing so hard at this. I thought it was perfect for the category. It was great. And then I'm always saying, make the Oscar shorter, make the Oscar shorter. And then they did something this year that made it longer, which was for all the acting categories, they had last year's winner and 4 other previous winners come out, do a little monologue about each of the
Loved it.
the nominee. Loved it. Even though it took more time, it was perfect. It made just getting nominated a really, truly important thing. Having an Oscar winner on stage spouting platitudes about each one of the people being nominated. I thought it was fantastic. And every time the 5 legends would come out on stage, I thought that worked incredibly well. The flow of the show was incredible. It never stopped. It never slowed down. The Melissa McCarthy bit, unfortunately, whatever. And again, I want to see her do more.
They tried hard, though.
They
tried to make
hard.
that work.
But the preparedness of the production, how everything went off without a hitch, how everything just flowed so perfectly. And by the time it was 3 hours, I was, wait, what? We're down to the last 2. They said next best actress and best picture. I'm like, really? We're that fast through it? So you know what? We'll get to the results in a second. But Rob, just talking just basically about the show itself. I was, for the first time in forever, extremely pleased with the show. How did you feel about it?
I'm with you. I mean, I think this was maybe the most important Oscars that has happened in years, if not decades.
Totally agree.
Because you're coming out of the pandemic, you're coming out of a movie
strikes.
season. Yeah, and you had the Barbenheimer thing. People like movies. And I think that there's been an attitude brewing because of social media and things. I mean, everyone's been too, I don't know, there's a thought that Hollywood is over and people, this was a return to form. It was highly entertaining. It also was reverent, but irreverent.
Yep.
It was both things. It struck a perfect tone. And also it was a celebration. I thought that those 5, when the Best Supporting Actress was the first award given,
Right.
when those 5 actresses, including Jamie Lee Curtis and Lupita Nyong'o, they all showed up, I was like, this is classy. You know, all 5 of these women looked radiant. This is what people want from Hollywood. And you can be as cynical as you want, but you know what? Movies still have magic. And this show celebrated that, but at the same time, it took the piss. It could still be funny. Like that John Cena bit was hilarious. Yeah. I mean, it was hilarious.
Oh, and how many shots did they take at Madam Web?
Oh my God!
I had like 2 or 3. They were pretty savage on Madam Web.
And I thought it struck the perfect tone. And you know what? At the end of the day, it celebrated the movies. We all love movies. Sometimes we need to be reminded. Movies are still the greatest form of entertainment I think that we have. And this was a really worthwhile show, and a lot of people who deserved to win won.
And some didn't.
And some didn't.
By the way, a couple other moments. DeVito and Schwarzenegger talking about how Batman killed them. And it's like, he's right there. And they cut to Michael Keaton with his Batman stare.
But
How
his
funny was
stare,
that?
his stare was not like comedic.
No, it was like,
He went into character.
I thought he was going to go up on stage and kill them.
Yeah.
That was wonderful.
And I did love how the pairings were a not so subtle marketing ploy. Like Furiosa, Chris Hemsworth, and Anya Taylor-Joy.
But we've been talking about how they should do that, right? Like
Yeah.
we talked, I remember a few months ago, about how maybe the Oscars should take a little cue from the Game Awards and not just become one giant commercial, but do a little bit more to not only are we celebrating the year that was, We're looking forward to the year of movies ahead. And so you brought out Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt together for The Fall Guy. You brought out, you just mentioned it, the
Hemsworth
Furiosa
and-
pair.
you said
You know, they did that, and I thought that was great. By the way, Schwarzenegger's little thing, that son of a bitch. I just wanted to die when he did that. I thought that was incredible. And now, so let's talk about the results. All right. A few minor surprises actually at the awards last night. It looked like Oppenheimer was getting shut out for the first 45 minutes of the show. It was like, but once we got into the more major, of course, Oppenheimer, the big winner of the night, winning 7 Academy Awards, including Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor, Best Supporting Actor. Didn't win Screenplay, but it won Cinematography and 1 or 2 others. But anyway, it won 7 awards. The next big winner, of course, was Poor Things, winning the biggest award they got was Best Actress for Emma Stone, which surprised some people.
But what a wonderful speech she gave.
Wonderful speech. And I love the fact that she came up with the back of her dress busted. She goes, it busted during the I'm just Ken. I'm just telling you, I don't care. She is wonderful. She's one of the most precious things we have in Hollywood right now. But then it won a number of other awards as well. Again, no big surprise Cillian Murphy won. No big surprise that Robert Downey Jr. won. No surprise that Divine won. Again, the only one that was really close was going to be Emma and
Lily Gladstone.
Yes, and Lily for Best Actress. Of course, Lily just won the SAG, went to Emma this time around, and but again, totally deserving, 100% deserving. A couple surprises in the screenplay thing. I'm
American Fiction.
So thrilled for American Fiction. So
what a great
thrilled.
speech he gave, too.
And it was a great speech. Talking
Great
about, hey guys,
speech.
instead of take out one of your $200 million movies and make 10 $20 million movies. Now, of course, what a studio guy will say back, you can't do with $20 million what you could do 10 years ago. But still, I mean, there was something about that, and he was like so excited and whatever. And I'm so glad to see American Fiction win a major award because it was such a good film. The screenplay is so great. But there were 2 I take issue with. And I'm not going to call them snubs, and I'm not going to call it whatever. It's just, I'm just not happy with them, and that's fine. That's cool. That's what the Oscars are. The Boy and the Heron is a wonderful film. It's wonderful. No caveats. It's wonderful. It was not as good as Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I know that's sacrilege because it's Miyazaki. You're supposed to say if it's Miyazaki, it's the greatest thing ever. And normally that's true. I have all the reverence in the world for Miyazaki. But Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse was the better animated film that year. It should have won. It didn't. Okay, that's fine. Godzilla -1 won Best Visual Effects.
Yes!
Yeah, but here's the thing. It shouldn't have. And everybody knows it. The visual effects in Godzilla -1 is the better film than the creator. It's a better movie than the creator. But that's not what the award is supposed to be. And everybody knows the visual effects in the creator were better visual effects than what they had in Godzilla. Because if Godzilla -1 wasn't a good movie, but still had the same visual effects, nobody would say it should win Best Visual Effects. Because it wasn't the best visual effects. The creator was. Better movie, but again, whatever. Not everything you pick is going to be the one that wins, and that's okay. That's part of what makes the Oscars so great. So those are my only 2 nitpicks. Every other category, I was totally good with. I was even like thrilled for a couple of them a little bit surprised, but still thought the winners were great. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, Miracle Made. Did you know that your temperature at night can have one of the greatest impacts on your sleep quality? If you wake up too hot or too cold, I highly recommend you check out Miracle Made's bed sheets. Inspired by NASA, Miracle Made uses silver-infused fabrics and makes temperature-regulating bedding so that you can sleep at the perfect temperature all night long. When they arrived at our house, my wife Ann loved the feel of them so much, she couldn't even wait for me to get home to put them on our bed. Miracle Made has self-cleaning. These sheets are infused with silver that prevents up to 99.7% of bacterial growth, leaving them to stay cleaner and fresh 3 times longer than other sheets. Miracle Sheets also have incredible comfort and quality. Miracle Sheets are luxuriously comfortable without the high price tag of other luxury brands and feel as nice, if not nicer, than sheets used by some 5-star hotels. So go to TryMiracle, that's TryMiracle.com/Campea to try Miracle Made sheets today. And whether you're buying them for yourself or as a gift for a loved loved one. If you order today, you can save over 40%. And if you use our promo code Campea at checkout, you'll get 3 free towels and save an extra 20%. Miracle is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you aren't 100% satisfied, you will get a full refund. So upgrade your sleep with Miracle Made. Go to trymiracle.com/Campea and use the code Campea to claim your free 3-piece towel set and save over 40% off. Again, that's trymiracle.com/Campea to treat yourself. As you look over the results, any surprises for you or ones that stood out to you?
Only screenplay. You know, I was really happy to see American Fiction win that. And that speech, I mean, I've been saying that, you know, I say that on the social media, on the internet for years, that, you know, why don't studios make 10 movies like that? I was sitting there cheering him on, you know, and look, I was happy to see, we've had Godzilla movies since 1954, you know, since the first one. This film took the Godzilla franchise up to a new level. And I did think, if after watching that Toho reel, and I don't know if it did it, but their Toho reel that they put out, you can watch it on YouTube. It's 6 minutes long. Watching this team of 35 people, the way it was done, I'm like, this is old school. I mean, now everyone's sitting at computers, and I think Godzilla did a perfect blend of old school effects technology and new digital technology.
Especially considering the budget they had.
Yeah,
it was
100%.
what they accomplished was remarkable.
But like you pointed out, the creator is extraordinary, because we're now in a world, they shot that movie, there were not marks on the wall showing where tracking marks and things like that. They could go shoot in Southeast Asia and get these beautiful live action plates, and then they can comp anything in the background now. No matter what, you can take live, it could be shaking. The effects technology they pioneered in the creator had never been done before. So I would say, yes, it's fantastic. But as a kid,
I get it. I get that people, because it's the better movie.
And the design of those shots was amazing.
Yeah, and listen, I took no qualms that the visual effects branch of the Academy Awards gave a nomination to Godzilla. I had no issue with that. But then it's not the visual effects branch that votes on the winner, right? It's the whole Academy that votes on the winner. And I honestly think it's just the fact that Godzilla -1 was such a crowd pleaser. It was the better movie overall than the creator was. And I understand that people were cheering for Godzilla because they love Godzilla. But I'm just asking people to be a little bit more objective. The visual effects in Creator were clearly superior. And it is what it is. But you know what? It won. And by the way, how great was it when Godzilla -1 won it, and all those people from Toho came out? They had their Godzilla statues. Did you notice they were all wearing Godzilla-themed shoes? All of them were wearing Godzilla-themed shoes. It was one of the coolest on-stage moments.
They were like filming it. They had like their cameras out.
Oh my God. It was just so charming and such a great Oscar.
But I think, John, that sort of signified the entire broadcast.
Yes,
I felt
100%.
for the very first time, you know, everybody is so cynical about Hollywood and movies and people and celebrities and all that. This was finally a return to form. I felt like, wow, the thing that we love so much, movies, the thing that we celebrate. What do you say every morning? Movies and TV news that we love so much. This was finally a return. I love this show. Yeah. I felt movies are back, baby. This thing that we've loved for our entire lives. Why did we let it? Why did we not love it? This just reminded us how great movies can be.
I love the one joke. I think it was Kimmel who made the joke. But first of all, how great did Jodie Foster look last night?
Oh,
like crazy good. But anyway, first of all, they brought up this really awesome fact. They said 40 years ago tonight, Robert De Niro and Jodie Foster were both nominated for Academy Awards for Taxi Driver. And then tonight, they're both nominated again. First of all, that fact blew my mind. But then Kimmel made one of the best jokes of the night when he went, now, back then, Jodie was young enough to be Robert De Niro's daughter. Today, she's 20 years too old to be his girlfriend. And Ann and I both just cracked when he said that. Today, she's 20 years too old. Oh. And then the whole, who was it? Was it America Ferrera that was up with who's the girl from Saturday Night Live? That's weird, Barbie.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't.
McKinnon.
Kate McKinnon.
Right?
Yeah.
Kate McKinnon get up and they're like, documentaries, this, Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
And then she's like, it's not a documentary. She goes, what are you talking about? She's, and what's his name isn't real. She goes, then who have I been sending all my tasteful
they
nudes
cut
to?
the
And then
hard cut.
Spielberg. I mean, and I read afterwards that wasn't scripted. Like Spielberg just saw that he went back up on screen, so he just went, like he just rolled with it, right? But I mean, like it was just such a great job they did. And when's the last time we said that about an Oscar broadcast? Long enough, I can't even remember when we did. But full credit and kudos to those of you out there who produced the Oscars last night. You did a fucking great job. It has reignited in me, Mike. Now I'm excited for the Oscars again next year. And it's not because they picked the right winners. No, because you put on a great presentation.
Yeah.
For the first time, I think this might be the first time ever that I thought the Oscar presentation, the Oscar broadcast, was better than the Golden Globe broadcast.
Yeah.
Golden Globes are meaningless, but they always put on great shows, and I actually think the Oscars outdid them this year.
I also felt that the industry coming off of two strikes, it felt like everybody was really supportive of one another.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And that was something that you could actually feel in this broadcast.
You can especially see it when I'm Just Ken.
Oh,
You know, that's where everyone's standing up, and then Ryan
everyone's
Gosling
on
even goes to Emma Stone, and she's singing the.
She was singing it, yeah.
You forget those two have been in a lot of movies together too. But like even like IATSE might be going on strike.
I
again.
know.
And I thought that was really good. Right at the beginning, Jimmy Kimmel brought out all the behind scenes people, all the IATSE people come out. By the way, let's talk about this for a second. The dedication, the homage they did to stunt performers, I thought was wonderful when they did the big thing about stunts. Now I know there's still a lot of people that believe they should have a stunt category at the Oscars, but when they were doing, I want to know what you think, because you and I haven't talked about this. I want to know what you think. When they were running the montage, the reel about why stunt work is so important and all that kind of stuff, it really drove home for me why you can't have a stunt category at the Oscars. And it's for two reasons. One, there's no other category where you would need the voters to actually be on set to see what's happening. And two, there is no way today that just a voter can look at a movie and tell what was CGI and what was a stunt. And it's just, that's why I'm not saying I don't believe stunt work doesn't deserve to have an Academy category. I think they should be honored every year. I think what they did last night, they should do every year.
I think they should keep doing that.
But I don't think you can make a legitimate category of it because it's just impossible to actually vote on. I don't know, Rob, how do you feel about that?
I agree 100% because, you can only vote on what you have in the finished film.
Right.
And nowadays, you can't tell what stunts were done and how they were done because, like you just said, you're not on set. But what they did, like you said, Jonathan, they should do that every year and make it some kind of an honorary or yearly thing. But now, I'm sorry, in the digital age, there's no way that a movie, when you're watching it, because you're awarded based on what the finished film is, not what it took to get there.
Right. Not like the stunt coordination, the planning, the blocking it out. Like, how do you know?
You don't know. And there's no way that anybody watching a movie could ever make that decision.
So every year, I think they should start every year at the Oscars, set aside a 2.5, and listen, you may say only 2.5 minutes. 2.5 minutes is a big block at the Oscars.
Yeah.
Set aside a 2.5 minute homage reel to the best in stunt work that year and really honor the stunt community every year because I just don't think you can do a category, but they deserve to be at the annual event that celebrates movies. You have to have a seat at the table for the stunt people who are such a big part of it. And if they can do that every year, I think that will make a lot of people happy. Anyway, guys, we could talk about the Oscars all day. It was just such an incredible night. And again, huge night for Oppenheimer. Winning all the Christopher Nolan finally winning his Best Director Academy Award. I mean, it's shocked. I remember Ann said, so how many does he have now? I'm like, counting tonight? Yeah, 1. It's like finally getting his Best Director Oscar and being so, I mean, yeah, so, like Killers of the Flower Moon got shut out, I think was completely shut out. I think Barbie got shut out other than the song category. But that was fine because the night put such a big spotlight on Killers of the Flower Moon and on Barbie and just getting all those nominations.
And we didn't mention that, but live performance, that performance from Killers of the Flower Moon was really cool.
Oh, that was
really
cool.
It was awesome.
Then when they started doing it, I'm like, oh, tell me they're going to play this whole thing out, and they did. It's like, you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of the Indian film last year. RRR, when they had the musical. First of all, I didn't like RRR. Oh my God, that musical number last year was so good.
It was so good.
I love that one.
You know, Robbie Robertson, who did the score for Killers of the Flower Moon, passed away.
Yep.
Oh,
He was in the In Memoriam.
He was and I'll tell you something. I did a public service announcement for the Oneida Nations because they contributed to the American Constitution, and he did the music for us. And he was an incredible person to work with. It was so
awesome.
amazing. He was awesome.
I love the band and The Last Waltz.
Oh yeah, and you know, Martin Scorsese goes all the way back to The Last Waltz. So that performance was beautiful. It was really beautiful.
And then first of all, the In Memoriam was incredible. You have the greatest singer and I mean this wholeheartedly, the greatest singer in the world up there saying Porti Voltaire and like which just killed it. I think that was his son that was up there with him too. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What did you think of the Oscars? This is maybe the first time some of you have ever seen me be really happy with an Oscar broadcast. I thought they killed it last night. How did you feel about it? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.